This is Simon Torres, Arsenal supporter of Charm City Gooners. You are listening to DU Football Show, and I'm here to tell you that it could be worse. You could be an Everton fan.
Not that bad.
Well,
Mickey fucking Keggers with the worldie. That was pretty nice.
yeah, that was wild, that.
You know, it's another No Malort Monday, with the exception of someone who is a shit better.
Yeah, I mean, it's a side bet. It doesn't count.
Yeah, well,
I'll still have to take a shot, but in terms of our teams, no Malort.
start the show.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston.
Sam Houston?
Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stuff of a lord. Looks great in shorts. Sam Grammy.
Sam Graham.
Fucking United! Fucking United!
Hello and welcome to the DU Football Show, a completely biased recap of the English Premier League as told by two common American schmucks. I am your host, Sam Houston, and across the way from me, with all the head bobs, right on time as I say two, my co-host, Mr. Samuel Graham. A little extra gray in that hair there, stud.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
A lot going on.
There's a lot going on.
No. That's Melissa. That's the Melissa Houston story. I got a lot going on over here. What did we decide the sequel was going to be, hon? I don't remember.
I need adult supervision.
There we go. Yes. So the first book will be I got a lot going on over here. The Melissa Houston story, and the second book would be called I Need Adult Supervision.
Yeah.
The Melissa Houston story, Part 2.
Yeah.
Nice.
Third part yet to be determined.
Oh, you'll give it to us. You are just gold, honey. You'll say something stupid. Having trouble with the old buttons there, the ups and downs and all that kind of stuff. Just the issues, huh? You got a lot going on over there. Oh, dude, you would be even better if you had yourself unmuted while you were talking.
Why? It's your show. I'm just here to press the buttons.
Sam and myself. Oh, no, actually, that's not the one I need to do. Duh. Look at me fucking with you, and then I fuck off. We're recording at the DU Public House just outside the nation's capital. You can check us out on all podcast platforms. Please be sure to rate, subscribe, review, and share with a footballing friend. Should you want to chat with us, there is many ways that you can. Mr. Graham, could you tell the good people how they get in touch?
Sure, it is at DU Football Show on all the social medias. And DUFootballShow.com to get in touch. .com at gmail.com rather to get in touch via email.
I need you real quick. Pull up the DU email or at Gmail real quick.
Okay.
Because I'm going to have you read the email we just got from Keith today that wasn't long-winded. And I just realized I can't read it because my phone is being used for the live stream.
He says, we'll have the email at the top of the show with our answer. Or
Yep.
You said that.
That's what I said. Hence.
That's called foreshadowing.
Yeah, no shit.
This is why I am still the best live reader in the business.
Cold reader. Hey, guys. Long time no email from Keith. I wanted to break up the Arsenal talk for a minute and wanted your opinions on the top four race. Glad you have an Arsenal midfielder spearheading the cause for you in Joe Willock with that first goal this past weekend. I've heard far too many experts say that they expect Liverpool or Spurs to overtake Newcastle because Liverpool could go on a run of 7 wins in a row, or Spurs have Harry Kane, so he will win them fourth. I think it's bullshit. So far, Newcastle has been better than both this season. They may regress to the mean and fall off, but they've clearly been better and more consistent than both of them so far. Looking forward to the show this week, as always.
Your thought?
Getting rid of Conte throws a spanner in the works, because if he was in charge, Spurs, I think, would fall out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Given today's result, which we'll come on to, obviously.
Yeah, they didn't look terribly impressive.
They didn't look particularly good. And
so it looked like a Conte-managed team.
Correct. And when he went out with the surgery, we said it last week,
yeah,
they looked a lot better almost immediately when
right.
they didn't have that specter hanging over them. This is going to... I'm not terribly convinced that they're going to stick around just yet. They have the tools to do it. You know, Everton have the tools to stay up. You know, blah, 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 blah.
But you still have to do it.
But you still have to do it, right?
Right.
The
You
game,
still have to
that's
actually
why
do
we
it.
love sports, is because the game still has to be played.
Right.
Newcastle have been doing it all season. We kind of saw it a little bit in the Carabao Cup final. Now, obviously, you had, Nick Pope being out, one of the obvious leaders on the team and blah, 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 blah. Do they have the still kind of, because they're not a small club, they're a big club, but they haven't won things for a long time. Do they still have that kind of mentality of getting over that hump? And them falling short this year is a possibility. But Eddie Howe's got them playing brilliantly. They're extremely organized. Nick Pope obviously is back in the net, and they looked very comfortable against Manchester United on Sunday.
They're scoring goals. I would say let's not immediately assume Manchester United is in.
Right. That's another thing.
I think a lot changes.
A lot of their talk after the game, too, was not great.
I think a lot changes when they add Casemiro back to the lineup. I think that changes things greatly for them as a side, but you can tell how badly they miss Christian Eriksen as well. Now, couple that, Tottenham, you got to play the games in front of you. I don't think Brighton's going to have enough to catch them because they're 6 points behind everybody else. But also keep in mind that, too, Liverpool's behind Brighton in the standings right now. And I think we're going to learn from Liverpool from, these next two matches coming up this week with playing Chelsea and Arsenal do they have what it takes to make the top four? And if it has anything at all to do with how they did this past Saturday, that answer's a resounding 0. Sam and myself both work in the wine and spirit industry and both have a deep, passionate love for all things distilled spirits. So as the red-blooded Americans we are, we vow to have a drink in our hand throughout this show and every single show. Mr. Graham, we finally reached the top 5, and yours truly might know a thing or two about old number 5 this week.
Yes, you probably do.
God, I would hope so. They pay me money to do.
At least you fucking should. All right, so we've got Westward American Single Malt Whiskey Cask Strength. This is 62.5% by volume or 125 proof. Should run you around $100. I'm going to tell you right now, it's a little bit more than that, but not crazy.
Yeah.
I think most of my retailers have it up there for 120.
Yeah.
The panel rating was 94 points, and your blurb comes to you from Jeffrey Lindenmuth from the Whisky Advocate tasting page. We got to get this fixed. This is pissing me off.
Yeah, huh?
Got to get this fixed. All right, anyway, 94 points, like I said, and Jeffrey Lindenmuth is giving you the blurb from Whisky Advocate. Founded in 2004 by Christian Krogstad, a brewer and winemaker turned distiller, Westward is a pioneer of American single malt. Despite a comparatively short history to that of Scotland, whiskeys like this have helped to prove the potential of the category, whose stature in the whiskey world continues to grow. Westward's signature style takes the sweet, malt-driven base of traditional single malt spirit and matures it in new charred oak barrels akin to bourbon. Bottled at cask strength, the flavor impression is of warm porridge and honey graham crackers laced with toasty oak. That's how my last girlfriend described me before Carly. Honey graham, get it, Mel?
Yeah.
That was the end, okay? Then cigar wrapper and butterscotch on the finish, a satisfying American original. The porridge I completely get. The tobacco I completely get here. The butterscotch is an excellent description on the finish. I think it's lovely. I think you represent a fantastic brand. We've said it how many times now on the show.
Yeah.
And this is no exception and fully deserves its place on the list.
This is my personal opinion of all the American single malts I've ever had, including other SKUs that week. This is the best thing for American single malt. It's the best American single malt there is. And that's also proven in the ratings and its score, and where it's the highest rated ever for that category.
Yeah.
And couple that with being a craft producer that produces their own spirit. There aren't many that normally make the top 5, let alone the top 10.
Right.
And for in 2 weeks, we'll have one that is a craft brand, but they blend, and there's plenty of art in the blend as well. I think that that anyone who does contract distilling, there's nothing wrong with that, because the barrels could be shit.
Oh,
You got to make it taste good.
100%.
You've got to make it taste good. And you've got to blend it properly. You got to proof it properly. You have to finish it properly, however you work with it. But, there's a lot of art, and just distilling is half the battle. How you blend it is the other half of the battle.
Absolutely.
And cool thing with this whiskey, readily available, not allocated, easy to get. And that's going to be a lot of the top 5. I see 4 of the 5 of them regularly, and one of them is a little tough, but you can find it if you look for it. That's the one thing that I appreciate about this list when they do it right. Don't get me wrong, the Middletons was fucking incredible, and the Nika Peated was fucking incredible. They don't need to be on the list.
No.
Old Fitz last year is incredible. That doesn't need to be on the list.
It's not supposed to be on the list.
This top 5 this year, I think, absolutely showcases the cool thing about this list.
Yes.
Whiskeys you could readily get that aren't that expensive. You know, everything's under 150. You could get something for $100. It's not terrible. And like I said, this whiskey is readily available. My warehouse got plenty of barrels.
Yeah, it's fucking delicious, man.
If this thing becomes allocated, I'm happy. It means we sold a fuck ton.
Yeah,
an absolute fuck ton. So, Mo, what do you think?
Well, I've had it before, so I was very familiar with it, and I'm a fan. I remember when you first started talking about working for them, you were most concerned, am I going to like the juice?
Because I hadn't had the juice yet.
You were extremely relieved, and the few tastings I've gone with you, I've thoroughly enjoyed watching people sample this and kind of go, what is this?
Oh, yeah.
And they end up drinking more and more and then come back for seconds. And the next question, where can I get this?
Yeah.
Where's this at?
So the other thing I like to say about this bottle, Sam, this is a trouble bottle. She 125. She don't drink like she's 125.
No.
Even without the cube, it drinks like it's $1.10. Like you can tell it's overproof. But there's stuff
that's not too hot. It's not overbearing.
Stuff that's 125 to 130. Like I love the Booker stuff, but there's some of it that is just straight up firewater. Like it's really hard to get past the proof. And she's smooth.
Yeah.
Oh, for 125. Like I said, it's a problem whiskey because you don't realize what you're drinking, and it drinks way too easy.
Yeah, absolutely. This is one of those.
I'm already through half of mine.
That you and I back in the day would fall asleep on the porch.
Yes.
In the when we'd run into the ice and whiskey out of ratio problem.
Yes, exactly. Empty bottle and no more ice.
Yeah. They never even out, remember. You put the ice in the glass, you pour the whiskey on the ice, you drink the whiskey. Well, God damn it, there's ice left.
Yep, gotta put more whiskey
in. Then we get to talking because we're now a little sauced. And then,
ice melts.
Ice melts. We got to put more ice in.
Yep.
Then we drink the whiskey, and then it just never gets there.
Much like hot dogs and hot dog buns, they never actually match up together until it's an empty
fall asleep
bottle
on a lawn chair and pissed ourselves.
Precisely.
That happens.
And on that note,
what else should we do, Mr. Crab?
Always
Besides
remember to drink responsibly.
drink on a lawn chair and piss ourselves.
show title.
Drink responsibly, of course.
Lovely. Let's go ahead. I should probably have the notes pulled up.
Yeah, probably be a good idea to be ready.
No.
Bus driver.
Yeah.
No, you're not ready. That's how we end up. But where's Sandra Bullock when you need her? Fucking speed over here.
Got to maintain that 45 miles an hour. Motherfucker can't drop it.
He's driving at the age.
We open with the most entertaining matches of the weekend. One was a battle for Europe, and the other a relegation battle that sees another manager sacked. Brighton 3, Brentford 3, Crystal Palace 2, Leicester 1. How is it the El Gatwico somehow gives us the most entertaining matches without having an actual El Gatwico?
Well, basically because I forced Palace in this segment when we spoke about it. You wanted to give Brighton their own segment. And I said, no, fuck Paul. We're going to do... I can't let either one of them have nice things, Paul or Brad.
Right.
So we're going to put them together.
Yeah, precisely. Precisely.
So the Brighton game, the game was awesome. The goals were excellent, most of them.
Oh, yeah.
But insane stat. This has never happened before, at least in England.
Mm-hmm.
All 10 Brighton outfield players registered 2 shots.
Really?
All 10.
All 10.
There was
Both center backs.
35 shots taken in this game by Brighton. 20 out of them. No, 15, I think. I think it was 33 and 15, if I remember correctly, because it was just about half were on fucking target.
Jesus.
Yeah. And I'm pulling it up for you now. Yeah, it was 15 shots on target, 33 total shots. Yeah. So not all the shots were on target, but every single outfield player, all 10 outfield players, registered 2 shots.
2 shots.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Fuck, it's the first time it's ever happened.
Well,
It's insane.
What was crazy too is
It's 72% possession for Brighton as well. So Brentford a bit more ruthless.
Yeah.
What's the word? Efficient is the word I'm looking for. Brighton, just the onslaught just kept coming. It's not like they were bad chances. Like I said, 15 of the 33 were on target.
Perfect example was Brentford go up 1-0 on the Jensen goal, and then finally Brighton break
Bullet
through
header,
the Jed Steer with the long ball onto Matomo.
What a ball that was.
And
then a composed, what a finish.
And then 30 seconds later, 2-1 Ivan
Toney.
Toney. Like, that just kind of exemplified what this match was.
I wonder, what was Lewis Dunk doing? Why was he 8 yards behind the rest of his back line?
Yeah.
That was weird. So it shouldn't have been the case. Had he been flush with his back line, Ivan Toney wouldn't have had the space to run into.
Yeah.
And really, the ball should have been dealt with. But Dunk was like still celebrating Matoma's goal, it seemed. It's like, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you all the way back there? I couldn't believe it when I saw the replay, when I saw the highlights. I was like, wait, why? I mean, that's schoolboy stuff.
I gotta say, for Brentford, though, there's been some definite inconsistency for a team that's really not lost hardly any games. I think they've lost 5. Like,
right.
They're like, this match they were up for, but then at home they draw Leicester 1-1. Like, it's just like there. It seems to be, as the season goes on, and it's a grueling season. And for a club like this, which is, you know, working with only so many players, and you know, it feels like I'm starting to see them fall off, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's necessarily any blame of them. Just, I don't think they'd never been in this situation before, where Brighton has also not been in this situation before, but they seem to be a little bit more battle tested. And do we think that that's because they have a little bit more Premier League experience than Brentford?
I mean, could be, yeah. I also think they're a little bit deeper. They're a little bit younger, as well. So they do have that going for them. But there's a bit more of that youthful exuberance. You sometimes look at Brentford's bench and go, who's going to change the game?
Yeah. You
know, if Wissa and Mbeumo and Ivan Toney are all on the field at the same time, it's like, what are we going to do now?
Yeah.
But you look at Brighton and you have Matoma, you've got Welbeck, and then Solly Marsh on the other side. Well, right behind him is Ferguson.
Yeah.
You know, who's
Marsh having a career season.
Yeah, but Ferguson, who's proven that he is a game changer. The young Irish lad. So you see some players on their bench that can offer them something a little bit different, where Brentford don't really have that. If it's not working with that starting 11, they're kind of tapped.
Which one of these two clubs do you think makes it to Europe?
Brighton.
Yeah,
Yep.
I would tend to agree.
I don't think Brentford's in any sort of trouble. They're going to have their best ever finish. Fuck, the way Chelsea's playing, and the way, you know, Liverpool is so stop-start. If Brentford could string together 4, 5, 6 results in a row in terms of draws / wins, but more wins than draws, I think Brentford could be in the conversation for McRib, and Liverpool could be in the conversation for not making it.
It is worth mentioning.
Tottenham as well are in trouble.
I have it listed in OSO, but I'm going to go ahead and mention it now. Villa's only 2 points behind fucking 6th place.
You got Villa, right?
Don't look now. Villa is 2 points behind 6th place.
So there's 3 segments to the league, right? There's the top 2. Then there's 3rd through 6th. Really, 3rd through 7th. Really now, and then there's everybody else.
Well, I would also bear to say that there's kind of a overlapping one, which is 5th through 9th.
Well, yeah, I mean that's fair. But I mean, you could make a case for Brentford, Brighton, Tottenham, Liverpool, Manchester United, Newcastle. They're all in that same sort of going in the right trajectory, quote unquote, and picking up results when they really desperately need them. But still kind of inconsistent sometimes. Yeah. So, and that 1 week where you fall off, you know, Villa. Brentford could miss out on Europe just because Villa has being more consistent since Emery's come in.
Yeah,
really.
Very true.
You know, but you can make an argument for any one of those teams to finish in either a Europa League spot or a McRib Cup.
Who would have thought that a team managed by Roy the Boy would manage to have 30 fucking shots?
20 in the first half.
20
in the first half.
Ultimately 10 on target. Good Lord.
Well, check this out. First time Palace have scored more than one goal in a game since August. Coincidentally, that game was also the same game Jean-Philippe Mateta scored in.
Mm-hmm.
He also had the second goal in that game.
Here's something I
Problem,
question.
though, Wilfie groin hurts.
Yeah, no, that
did not look good.
That's not good for them.
And I haven't heard a prognosis. I don't know how long he's going to be out, but that's not a good thing.
Do you think they play the exact same way in this match if Vieira was on the sideline and not Roy?
Mm-mm.
No? You think that maybe it might have been the right move to let go of Vieira, huh? I still don't. I still just...
Not necessarily.
Yeah.
But Eze hasn't been hurt for the last month.
Mm-hmm.
But he hadn't been playing. Why?
Yeah, fair
He
enough.
clearly fancies it.
Yeah.
He was their best player, easily. Palace's best player.
I mean, if it didn't hit off the keeper who, by the way,
It's so unfortunate.
Iverson.
Everson. I think he's not.
He's playing his ass off, makes 5 saves in the first half, and then Dougie got a Doug.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just that Leicester goalkeeper position is cursed because of the way Kasper Schmeichel left it.
Yeah.
Or if Wout Face being back had something to do with it, and he just kind of pushed the curse off onto Everson. But I don't know, man. They just seem desperate at the back.
And before Wout Face, Sanucci the year before had a horrible year.
It's Brother Brendy's gone now. So now what?
That was about what I was about to get into. Here's the interesting thing about all of that. The Foxes this whole time have just kind of been, we're not in a relegation battle. Like when interviewed, fucking Madison was like, no, we're not in the battle. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. And same thing with fucking Rodgers.
They're sleepwalking right into it.
You're in 19th place.
Yep.
You're in 19th fucking place now. You weren't in a relegation battle. Oh, you are fucking deep in it right now. And with 9 games left, you don't have a manager anymore.
Deep in it, like Colleen Rooney's phone in the sea. In the sea there.
That's a throwback. That is a throwback.
Very deep in the channel.
Hey, do you think that was the right move? The mutual consent?
Yes, because he then forfeits his payout, which Srinivasa Prava doesn't have to pay him, apparently. But who do they get? Guess who's the first person mentioned, which I know you told me to save it, and I'm not going to say anything about it other than Graham Potter is the favorite. Yeah, of course. He's the bookie's favorite now to take over at Leicester, which I thought Tottenham are a similar project.
Yeah, just... It seems I disagree with the move, and initially my opinion from a few weeks back is now drastically changed by this. There's not enough time for a manager bump to happen. You might get 1 win at home just because it was...
But it ain't going to help for real.
It ain't going to help.
And the other thing, too, is with Potter and Brother Brendy, we now have had the most sackings in the Premier League ever in a single season. There have been 13 managerial firings from a total of 12 clubs because Chelsea have just fired their second boss. Yeah. So that is what's funny about that is that's normally, if they weren't owned previously by a Russian billionaire and now by fucking Krusty the Clown, that's normally relegation fodder.
Yeah, that normally is. Normally, if you're going to a third manager, you're going down.
That's normally a Watford thing.
Yeah. But you heard that, Southampton. Yes, that's normally what happens.
Yeah, exactly.
You go to a third manager like, oh, this is not going to work out well for us this season.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. 2 clubs have done. So that's 11 clubs, and 2 of them have done 2.
Yep.
That's right, Hassan. I forgot Hassan who'll even manage this season. To be honest with you, fucking hell,
forgot a Hassan Hoodle.
There's been so many. My goodness. It's like I left the stove on in my Hassan Hoodle. I've got a Hoodle home.
See, you were worried about your dad jokes. And
I know.
They're back.
They're here. I know. And I feel like all those dad jokes are so funny. Christian's heart thing's going off again.
Now,
I love you, buddy.
I think now there are 4 potential clubs of going down. I still think Southampton, Bournemouth, Forest. I think that Leicester has squarely put themselves right in the middle of that bullshit.
Absolutely.
Right in the middle of that bullshit. And
yeah, they have. They've sleptwalked to it. Their defense is so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it's akin to how bad United's defense was.
Right.
But United have De Gea back there.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, this is the fall that we're talking about is Leicester weren't exactly ripping teams apart when they won the title or when they went on that FA Cup run. They had results. That City 3-1 or whatever, 5-1 or whatever it was. So they had some results here or there, excuse me, but most of it.
Hey, kept it going. I was impressed. That was an on-the-fly burp. Just kept it going.
Most of it boiled down to how tight their defense was with Robert Huth, Harry Maguire, and Jamaican lad.
Wes.
Yeah.
Wes Moore.
Morgan.
Wes Morgan.
Their captain.
Wes Moore, governor of Maryland.
Yes, very
You're
good.
confusing your Wesses.
Yeah.
Carly, update on that, by the way, tweeted something, the first tweet it might have been a Facebook message, something. Mayor Scott put something up on Facebook, and she said something like, "Oh, man, I thought you were talking about something else, shorty."
Oh,
I'm glad she knows who he is now.
She's still bitter about the way he acted.
oh, damn.
And yeah, it's fucked up. Anyway, that's funny. But it boiled down to how good their defense was.
Yeah.
Basically, right? And them being able to keep teams out. I mean, you had Vardy, kind of doing his thing and scoring in 11 straight games. And a lot of that season was 1-0s and 2-0s.
Oh, yeah.
They weren't exactly, flying super high. You know what I'm saying? So the way that they've fallen off here defensively has just been absolutely absurd. I mean, selling Fofana 3 days before the season started or whatever it was, losing Kasper Schmeichel like the last day of the transfer window. It's just been one very poor decision after another, and I wonder if Trinidad Brava Jr. knows what he's doing.
It's very fair.
And I know that they were hurt by COVID because the King Power, all of that stuff, those are the kind of corner of the Asian market in the airports for the duty-free shops.
Duty-free, yeah.
So nobody was fucking traveling. And in Asia especially, those restrictions lasted a lot longer than they did for the rest of the world.
Yep.
Because white people gonna white. And get it? And it's a Donald Trump joke.
Yes, I do.
So they had restrictions beyond what we had for a long time. So they're gonna, they're gonna hurt bad from that. I mean, that's one group of rich people I actually feel for.
Yeah.
In a lot of this, you know what I mean? Especially when they're talking about COVID, being putting the spanner in the works for the finances of the club. I totally get that in this particular case.
I'll finish it on this. We've said with Leicester, they're able to score goals, which is great. But the problem with a team that has a very poor defense but a very good offense is every team goes out there playing them and they know all they got to do is get one more fucking goal than they do.
Yep.
And they're just one more fucking goal, and that defense is going to give it up.
Mm-hmm. I just thought of another funny story real quick.
Okay.
Speaking to Christian, we had this vice president of my company years ago who had a heart attack.
Uh-huh.
And he ended up getting a thing to monitor his pulse and blood pressure and everything else so that wouldn't happen again. And it was funny. He was off work for about 6 months, recovering and all. And he goes into a liquor store getting ready to set up for a survey. And this particular product that should have been featured very prominently was not for said survey. They were doing the pre-manager walkthrough, and the shelf space for that product was like in the deep dark corner, right by the office door, like in the back of the store, right where nobody wants to live.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like knee height instead of eye level. Well, he had been, since he had come back, very, very calm. Well, he saw the state of the store the day before the survey was supposed to happen, and his fucking thing started beeping. That was like his heart rate was going up and everything was going nuts.
Mm-hmm.
And all the managers that were there with him trying to set the store up and make sure everything looked good just found, because he could not contain his rage. And now we could hear his rage from his hip
Beep, 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 beep,
rather
beep,
than
beep.
his mouth. Yeah,
Very
it
good.
was quite funny.
All right. Next time, let me go ahead and get out the intro first before we jump in with that, because that's kind of how that works. And besides, I'm about to talk about your club. The battle at the top sees City get a massive win, only to see Arsenal hold serve with the exact same score. Manchester City 4, Liverpool 1, Arsenal 4, Leeds 1. Liverpool go up quick, but then it was all fucking City.
I will not have my creativity stifled.
Okay, very good.
First, yes. The first half was excellent. It's the stuff of dreams.
Be
It
as
was-
creative as you like. Let me at least drive the bus to the next fucking segment. All I gotta do is go from stop A to stop B. Let me just get to stop B and then fucking go crazy. I'm okay with that. Let me open the door, let the passengers off, say what I need to say, and you can then sit in the back banging the fucking pots like Steve Martin and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels going, Oklahoma, Oklahoma, Oklahoma. You're fine. Just let me get to that open the door part.
Well, if you had driven the bus right from the beginning, we wouldn't be having this conversation. The first half was the stuff of dreams.
Sure thing, Trumpy. Sure thing, Trumpy. All your fucking whataboutisms.
What about my freedom? It's a tyrannical government. Allegedly, YouTube, allegedly.
Satire.
Satire.
Anyway, the first half was excellent.
Yeah.
End-to-end stuff. Good football being played, both sides, battling it out, tackles flying in. It was nuts. But the woodwork was hit. A couple of goals were scored. Liverpool took a shock lead. I was creaming in my pants. Like, yes! Liverpool win the game, please. And then Jurgen Klopp had a halftime talk. And I'm not sure what the fuck he said, but whatever it is, don't ever repeat it.
Yeah.
Because they came out, 2.5 minutes? I think
Goal.
it was. Yeah.
Goal.
And then 40 seconds after, whatever, no, 3 minutes, whatever it was after that, goal. And then 7 minutes later, 3-1. And you're like, well, what the fuck just happened? This was like that Keanu Reeves bit from The Replacements. You remember? It's like playing in quicksand. It's like you think everything's going fine, and then all of a sudden,
It just gets worse.
it just gets worse. And then you fight harder, and then it just gets worse and worse and worse because you're trying too hard. And that's what it seemed Liverpool were doing.
City. No Holland. No problem.
Man.
Liverpool. No midfield. Big fucking problem.
Yeah.
Big. I mean, it's becoming obvious. Like, especially like Henderson and Fabinho they're still two of the best midfielders in the world, right? And they're going to play well against 90% of this league. But against that team and the way they like to control, like, you're not going to fucking be able to contain them. And it's ultimately, like, I criticized Liverpool about this during the transfer window. You kept buying strikers because your forwards are all hurt. It doesn't matter if there's nobody to control the middle of the
Nobody to
fucking
give them the
field.
ball.
And
Yeah, exactly.
there'll be plenty of games where they'll be fine. They'll be absolutely fine. Still crafty veterans. They know what they're doing. They're still some of the best midfielders in the world, and I won't take that away from them.
But they've lost a step.
If they want to win titles, if they want to be in the Champions League, they got, like, this offseason, they're going to have to offload a couple of strikers to pay for it, but they need to fix that fucking midfield, and they have to fix it right fucking now.
100%.
Because that midfield also then makes up for any mistakes the defense makes because they're there to cover their ass. People have become real critical of Virgil van Dijk, and it's not that he, like, oh, well, since the injury. Hold on, moment of silence for the touch roll up. Thank you. But since that, right, I would say it's because he doesn't have very good midfield in front of him, and he has to do it all fucking self.
But he also has to do more.
Yeah.
Because Fabinho was breaking up a lot of that play. Wouldn't even get to Van Dijk.
Yeah.
There was, a lot of situations where Virgil van Dijk isn't very quick. He's relatively quick, but for his size. But he's not a quick player in terms of like Julian Alvarez, for instance, who scored a peach of a goal in this game as well, by the way. But Van Dijk has always prided himself, at least it seems, on his positioning and his awareness. Well, his partner isn't very good in the center defense, so he has to do a lot of covering for him. But then it almost seems like
his right back thinks he's a right wing.
Right, but how cool, calm, and collected that Virgil van Dijk usually seems He's panicked a couple times.
Mhm.
I mean, how many times did he just hoof the ball out to touch
Right.
in this game? Stuff that he normally doesn't do. He normally picks out Robertson.
Yeah.
Or drop it a shoulder and pull it back and get himself a yard of space to play it to the other side to Alexander-Arnold, who for some reason is already standing on the halfway line. Just that kind of shit is like, that's not happening this season. And I think part of it is Konate's not very good. Matip and Gomez have had their injuries this season. That's who Van Dijk had seemed to be comfortable with.
Yeah.
Him and Konate just can't get on the same page.
Yeah.
And then Trent has just gone off the fucking reservation. So Cameron started soccer shots on Saturday.
Oh, okay. Very good.
And I'll save that part of the joke for injury time, actually. But she is playing a lot like Trent Alexander-Arnold. One big hoof, right? We were trying to do dribbles, and we called it tick-tock. Each foot. Hit
Tick-tock,
it once,
tick-tock,
real
yeah.
close. Tick-tock, tick-tock, real close to you. Now, all she wanted to do was hoof it. And then after she hoofed it, she became disinterested and ran past the ball towards a dog that was playing in the park. And that seems to be what Trent Alexander-Arnold's doing.
Yeah. That's one last thought for City. Would appear Grealish is finally starting to figure out what it means to play for Pep.
Yeah, so they said it takes about a year to settle in under Pep. And we've hit, just about a year now with Grealish. And a little bit over a year because he's a bit dense. But he's starting to figure out. Yeah. He's from Birmingham, but couldn't pick it out on a map if everyone doesn't remember. So that's not a criticism. It's
Ross's favorite crayon flavor is green.
Yeah.
And Jack's favorite crayon color is yellow. I mean,
lemon.
Lemon.
It's they're strange lads, those. But yeah, no, it's starting to figure it out. And the commitment he seems to have to be showing City, that run where he tracked Salah from midfield all the way to the 18, and the awareness of Gakpo running behind him. So the way he tailored his defensive run was fucking brilliant. And then getting the touch on it to send it back to Ederson was just excellent. And it shows that he cares. It shows that he's willing to put in the hard yards and do the work. Yeah. He should have had a hat trick, really. Liverpool did get a good block in, but Alisson had a fantastic save.
Oh, on that volley that he hit
on that far post. When he cut back inside was excellent.
Hell of a hit.
But he got his goal in the end, and it was great as a true man of the match performance from him.
Oh, absolutely. So
he started the other move. They scored the first two goals were carbon copies of each other, just from the opposite side.
Yep.
And he had the one assist, and it was fantastic. Grealish had the best game he's had in a City shirt since he signed for the club.
Not to be outdone. It took a little while for you guys to get going, but in the second half, Arsenal just fucking roll. And welcome back, Gabby Jesus. And you couldn't be at a better fucking time to get him back.
Gabriel Jesus, before he got hurt, scored 5 goals. He had knee surgery following what happened at the World Cup. He was out for 4 months in total away from the Arsenal. He comes back. In his second appearance, first start, scores twice. Richarlison is yet to score his first goal for Spurs.
Yeah.
But he started over Gabby at the World Cup.
You should have seen
Bollocks.
Richarlison's
bollocks.
Yeah, he was scoring for Brazil though. He was scoring for Brazil.
What, twice?
He had that fucking worldie. A
little overhead kick. He didn't even jump properly.
His TikTok, his post on TikTok today.
Who? Richie?
Yeah. Was of him scoring at Goodison when he picked up the flare and threw it back into the stands. But that was his. Do you think that was not properly timed, considering they were playing Spurs today? Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, definitely.
He wants to come back on loan, I think.
Oh, yeah. We'll take him.
He hates his life there.
Yeah, we'll gladly take him. Anywho, let's keep it rolling.
Yeah, anything you can do, I can do the same.
Yeah.
It's almost like that Mia Hamm and Michael Jordan commercial from the late 90s.
Leeds are still making very, very simple mistakes in the back. You look at that Ben White goal, which was a brilliant pass from Gabriel Martinelli. But how?
Yeah.
How is the wing back?
He shouldn't have.
How
been
is the
able
wing
to,
back tapping that into the net? Like that is.
I mean, he made a meal of it.
Yeah.
He hit the underside of the crossbar,
but still,
which is
just
proper wing back finish, you would say. I guess.
how is he that fucking open? And this has been when you watch Leeds throughout this entire season. It's always been just like horrid mistakes. Fucking again, first half, Meslier comes running out to head a ball away that almost gets put in again
by Martinelli.
He's done that 5 times, and 2 of them got put in the back of the fucking net. Like he's got to be more aware.
He came out, and he was clearing it with his foot as well.
It's just,
and he put it right in the middle of the field, about chest height. It bounced just before Martinelli, and he volleyed it towards goal, and Luke Ayling almost fucked it up, clearing it off the line. It was on target, but he couldn't sort his feet out properly. It hit his right leg, or I'm sorry, hit his left leg, bounced off his left leg, hit his right leg, and then went out for a corner. Yeah. It was like, what are you guys doing back here? It was
just these very simple mistakes that Leeds seems to keep making, and that's, I think ultimately they figure out a way to stay up because I think they have the tools to stay up as a club, but if they go down, it's going to be because their defense fucked it off. Yeah, definitely. They're just like, it's bad.
I was terrified actually when Luke Ayling's, despite how soft it seemed to be, I was terrified when the penalty got called.
Oh yeah, right in the knee.
It was on his knee again.
Yep, right on the knee.
And recently repaired, and you don't know, that touch. The touch wasn't much, right? It was a fairly soft penalty, but again. Time and time again, we say the same thing. Don't give the referee a decision to make. I've said it about Gabriel last season a few times. Don't put yourself in a position where the referee has to make a decision because ultimately you're going to be let down more often than not. Yeah. We're going to talk about it in your game. Yeah. With Decore and his decision-making process.
Yeah, well, and Keane and his decision-making process that ultimately led to the penalty. Same thing, yeah.
You do not put yourself in a position to allow the referee the chance to make a choice here, right? But that little touch maybe moves his leg in a way where his foot lands funny and then his weight gets distributed improperly. He's out for a year now or something. I was terrified. So when he stood up and then was able to take the penalty, I was, oh, thank God. I just saw our whole title crumble right before my eyes there.
Well, what's nice about having him back in the lineup is, okay, Saka just did international duty, not feeling 100%. You were able to put him in the lineup, and you got Trossard and Martinelli on each side.
Trossard just moved out to the right. Martinelli came in his natural left position, and then Saka comes into the frame. Martinelli goes through the middle. Trossard goes over to the left, and Saka takes up his position on the right. Yep. There's all this movement and interchangeable parts, and people are fighting for positions now, and everybody seems to be in form, wanting a piece of the action.
Able to get subs for Partey, Xhaka, able to get those those subs for people too. You've been winning a couple at the death here lately, and to be able to just get the starting squad off and let them rest and go, hey, we're kicking the shit out of somebody. Right. It's exactly what you need going down the stretch. You need to let those guys get some breaks. And you were about to say.
Also, I feel bad for Eddie Nketiah in all this, and I could see him either going out on loan to a rather large club or going out on loan or being sold in the summer just because it would be surplus to requirements with everybody fit. Yeah. And I feel bad for him. I mean, he joined Arsenal as a younger kid. He was in Chelsea's academy and then came over to Arsenal 14, 15 years old, somewhere in that sort of range, and then obviously signed professional terms with us. Yeah. So, but he's a good player. He's just not consistent and doesn't do as much work as Jesus does or Martinelli. And Martinelli is able to play through the middle. So he's now third in line for the middle spot because we picked Trossard up who can play on the left. Yep. Which means if Gabby can't play, other Gabby can go in the middle. Yep. And then Trossard can play on the left instead. And Eddie's just an afterthought. And I feel bad for him, but that them's the footballs.
Mr. Graham, we're reaching the point. We're starting to get to a magic number for you guys.
Don't jinx it.
rounding out the rest of the league. And so that happened. Bournemouth 2, Fulham 1, Forest 1, Wolverhampton 1, Villa 2. I said Villa. Bournemouth 2, Fulham 1. I think I said Villa there. It's my mistake. Forest 1, Wolverhampton 1, Villa 2, Chelsea 0, West Ham 1, Southampton 0, Newcastle 2. Yes.
I was going to say, you could just say Villa 2 anytime and as many times as you want to.
Heard. Man United 0, Everton 1, Tottenham 1. We said this on Injury Time. If Bournemouth wants any chance of staying up, you have to win this fucking game at home. They won this game at home. That's a big step for them. That's a big fucking step.
It's huge.
Especially considering what Leicester just did. There's a chance.
They didn't
There's
deserve
a
it.
fucking chance. Oh, no, they didn't, but they found a fucking way.
You know what it should have been? A draw like I fucking said it was going to be.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, because Leno, now to his credit, he got to the initial ball. It was a hard shot from not a big distance.
Yeah.
He's got a hand to it, but Anthony Robinson needs to be dealing with that clearance, that ball, that rebound. And he just didn't react fast enough, and Solanke got in and scored.
Also might be why I beat you in fantasy this week, too.
It could
Solanke
be.
with that
We'll
goal.
see. We'll see. Everybody see that? Right there.
Yeah,
That's for you.
that little finger. Yeah, okay. 16th beating first, that's all I'm saying.
That's fine. It's better if a listener wins anyway. I'm tanking it on purpose.
No, you aren't.
Yeah, no, I mean, it took a while to get off the mark for both teams, really. There was a chance here or there, like right at the start, rather. But 15 minutes on the clock, finally Fulham gets the breakthrough. It was actually a lovely piece of play that saw Pereira score and rooted Neto to the spot, much like Lloris later on in the day on Sunday, or Monday, rather. But yeah, no, it was a good game all around. I mean, both teams believed in it. Fulham let Bournemouth stick around,
Right.
which was the wrong thing to do. And they started to turn the screw a bit, and they started to believe. They had a couple of chances in a row, and Fulham was kind of a comedy of errors, but it gave Bournemouth the belief that, hey, we can fucking do this. And they took that initiative and then equalized. And then, it gave, we're in this now. And then got that goal at the end.
These are exactly the matches where you go when I used to be on the other side of it, sitting comfortably in 8th place, trying to get to 6th place, go, we went to Bournemouth and lost. They fucking suck. Well, no, they needed it more. It's like where Everton beat Brentford. They needed it more. And don't look now, like Fulham's in 10th. Fulham, as long as Chelsea can somehow figure it out, Fulham could find themselves in the bottom half of the table. Now they'll be happy because they survived.
They survived for a change.
But they're also going to look at a season where they were like, at one point we were in 5th fucking place.
Yeah.
They
were for 7th for a while as well. For a while they were in 7th.
Yeah.
Which would have been good enough for McRib probably.
Yeah. Precisely. So that's, like I said, for Bournemouth, that's exactly what you wanted. They got another match like that coming up this week. Same fucking thing. You have to, in your building, you have to get those W's.
Yeah.
Can they do it? Maybe. I think that I think Leicester's introduced a new team that can help them make that great escape. But we'll have to see. And also, it all fucking changes week to fucking week with that fucking bottom 12 teams.
It's still so close.
There's finally been a little bit more movement now that Palace got that win. They're a little bit
At
more.
At the same time, there was a few other losses as well.
It's back to being like a 6-point difference again instead of a 4-point.
Right, but half these teams have a game midweek and a game at the weekend as well. So right. now you're looking at that whole thing. That whole deficit could be erased if you lose next weekend.
Very true. Very true. So Forest get the point, but they don't get the win at home. Again, like their home cooking is like, for a team in a relegation battle, you say at least it was a point, right? But for as well as they were playing at home at the early part of the season, giving away leads, especially at the death, like, that's got to be frustrating.
Yeah, Forest should have won the game.
Yeah.
Start there.
Yeah.
I feel like they were the better team, and I think it's pretty much Brennan Johnson's fault. I'll tell you why.
Mm-hmm.
He picked up the ball on the right side and running into the box and tried to round. I forget what Wolves defender it was, but tried to round somebody. He was getting fouled at that moment was getting fouled. He rounded them, took a heavy touch, then decided to do one of the worst dives ever on some of the weakest contact I've ever seen in my life. If you're going to go down, you needed to go down on that first contact.
Right.
And
get
you
that penalty.
probably would have won the penalty.
Get that penalty, be up 2-0, you go on to win.
Done. But he didn't. And it was one of the worst dives I've ever seen. It was absolutely pitiful.
Yeah.
And he should have been booked for it, and I don't think he was.
No, he was. He
was
saw
booked?
yellow for
Okay,
it.
yeah.
He saw yellow
But
for it.
He was fouled, but was too honest.
Mm-hmm.
That's the gamesmanship that some of these English players lack.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
We'll talk about the gamesmanship that one of them definitely had.
Go down, son.
Yeah.
What are you doing? My Brazilian won us a
grab your
penalty.
face, roll around. When Seamus Coleman's standing over top of you going, get the fuck up. You're wearing a captain's armband. Still stay on the ground and roll around. Pour water in your eye because you were gouged. You were gouged. It was WrestleMania happened on Sunday. You were gouged, Harry. Please continue. Go ahead.
My Brazilian won us a soft penalty. Their Englishman did not win them a soft penalty.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
Yeah.
I think that basically, because, other than that, they were relatively even during the game. And Wolves' goal was pretty good.
Yeah, from Podence.
Brennan Johnson's goal originally was excellent. And good play as well. But I think they'll ultimately be fine because they're picking up these points here and there. They're picking, that up until a month ago, they had all those. Well, they were one of the form teams in the league following the World Cup. I think they probably have done enough to get themselves over the line. Really? I think there are 3 worse than them, but they're going to need to, again, not find themselves in a Leicester situation. They're going to have to continue to press, continue to get those results and put those points on the board, albeit draws or wins. Just get the points on the board because Southampton, their game was shit. We're about to talk about them in a second. It was one of the most boring games of the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
That, can they get themselves out of it? I'm not so sure.
Right.
Can Leicester drag themselves out of it after sleepwalking this far? Not so sure. That so that's gonna tell a lot here over the next few weeks.
Wolves, after the last couple of results, just seem to be falling right back fucking into
Correct.
it. When you beat fucking Liverpool at home, you seem to be going in the right direction, and then you're just right the fuck back in.
Now the good part for Forest is if the starting 11 doesn't get it, they have 415 other players that they can bring in that might understand what the fuck they're going through.
Yeah, but we're the ones charged with financial fair play.
They haven't looked at they didn't have access to their books all year.
You're right. That's one count. 111 for City. I'm not bitter. Not bitter at all. No, not one bit. Villa, don't look now. 2 points out of fucking 6th fucking place. They are figuring out fucking Emery ball.
I hope you're safe by 4 points and then Premier League dock you 3 points for your 1 count and you're still safe. But they sent that message.
Because that would really piss off the 3 teams that go down.
I think royally. It would be fucking hysterical too. Sorry, Villa were excellent.
Yeah.
Now they had some help.
Great. Yeah.
Koulibaly's flick-on-header for Ollie Watkins' goal was phenomenal. They did have some help.
What was that? What's the stat that happened for Ollie with that goal?
First, 5 goals on away.
5 consecutive away games.
Yeah, 5 consecutive away games he has scored. I knew it was 5 something.
First time in Villa history.
Yeah.
Really?
Boys and girls, let us remember, they are one of the original So we're talking first time
one
ever.
of the original fucks. Is that what you said?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I heard.
Original fucks.
Everton's included in that too.
Yeah. That means it's over 130 fucking years.
Yeah.
They've
5 straight away days.
First time.
For somebody their club.
When Unai got rid of my favorite 40-year-old Danny Ings, I was a bit concerned because that's where all of our goals were coming from. But fuck, he clearly knew what he was doing. He was like training wheels for Watkins.
Yeah.
And now that Ings was gone, Watkins has blossomed and he is a force to be reckoned with.
Coutinho is getting 0 minutes. Buendia is fucking playing.
Yep.
Ings gets sold. Watkins is fucking playing. It was clear Unai Emery went in and went, no, we're not working with fucking veterans. These guys are going to do it or I'll lose my job. But I'm putting everything into these 2 guys because they're the long-term investment.
Luka's on the bench and Mourinho's doing very well.
Yep. Moreno.
Whatever.
Mourinho's a different person who's about to be back in Chelsea.
Huh.
If only.
You heard it here 10th. Because the Guardian was all over that. I saw. What I will say about Ollie Watkins, I think they spent the money on Danny Ings and brought him in and benched Watkins. Honestly, I think put the boot in his ass to go. You know what? I can be replaced.
I also think Gerrard was. I want veteran footballers.
Yeah. I need somebody I can trust. Blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean that also makes sense.
Yeah,
but I think it might have been an inadvertent thing that happened.
Yeah,
but
agreed.
I think it did show Ollie Watkins like fuck. They can come for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So I need to get my shit together, and he has been fucking excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Even
Potter.
though it's weird to do Danny Ings, though.
Yeah.
It's weird to do Danny Ings as the person to show you can be replaced because his hamstrings are like fucking twigs.
Yeah,
That's
precisely.
why I said he's like training wheels.
Potter out at Chelsea.
Yep. Swear I'm going to stand by him all season. This is why I called Todd Bowley Krusty the Clown. I don't like his hair, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, that's coming from me. Bowley's
For
hair
those
is
you
weird.
didn't see, Graham just shook his hair to show off his long, flowing,
luscious locks.
yeah,
Todd Bowley has weird Donald Trump hair.
gray,
I don't like
fucking layered locks.
It's not as bad as Trump's, but it's
getting
not
old.
good.
Your hair's gray.
Todd Bowley.
You're getting old.
Do you agree?
I mean, yeah, but you're getting old. That's what I care about.
So Krusty the fucking clown over there just waving his
man.
checkbook around like it's going out of style. I swear I'm going to stand by him on this, that, the other. But apparently he can't figure out if he's English, Russian, or American, and decided to part ways.
I don't begrudge. I know Brighton fan supporters are like, we're bitter the way he left because he left very abruptly.
Yeah. But they wanted him to do well because of the heights
Right.
that he took Brighton to.
But maybe it was the wrong place for him. It was certainly the wrong move for him.
It's the wrong place for most people.
He's going to have a job. He's going to get a
definitely.
job.
His stock
very
was not hurt by
quickly.
this.
Yes, but at the same regards, he was shit there. Their results were shit. Now there's a lot of exonerating facts that come to it, but
tinkered so much with the team.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced he knew what his best 11 were.
no, not at all.
And then Todd Bowley in January just threw more players at him.
yeah,
It was like, shit, that fucks up more stuff. But then Sir Alex Ferguson, right? Arguably the greatest coach of all time.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, have more trophies than anybody.
There's an eyebrow who I would say has.
I'm just, in terms of the English Premier League.
yes, very true. That's not debatable. And that's
even,
hard coming from you as an Arsenal supporter with Wenger.
And even still, they've started to reconcile.
Yeah.
I think Wenger offered to buy him an ice cream the other day
Aw.
upon their dual induction into the Hall of Fame.
I figured you were going to hold that for parting words.
No, I think it was a bottle of wine.
Okay,
they were going to
very
share a
good.
bottle of wine. No, ice cream was Roy Keane and Graham Souness or somebody. That's right. Or no, it was Patrick Vieira and Roy Keane. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Another point. Wenger wanted to share a bottle of wine with Alex Ferguson because they never did as managers because they hated each other so much.
Oh, God,
But
yeah.
now as old men, they're starting to reconcile. And I think we should do Grumpier Old Men 3.
Mm-hmm.
Remember Grumpy Old Men?
Yes.
Then Grumpier Old Men?
Yeah.
I think we should do Grumpy Old Men 3.
Grumpiest.
Yeah, grumpiest old men. Yeah, and it should just be them two,
Mm-hmm.
and maybe Graham Souness involved, just because he's a prick,
Mm-hmm.
and just have them reconcile all their differences. I like that. Get Roy involved.
Does a new manager save this season for Chelsea to
No,
the point that
of course
they get
not.
to Europe?
No.
Do you think they end up outside of the top 10?
Yes. No. Probably 10th.
Yeah.
9th or 10th. But
I figure like they're going to catch Fulham and Brentford and finish in 9th. is what I
probably,
figure.
yeah. But Brighton are rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Even Fulham, to an extent, are rolling when they get Mitro back.
Yeah.
You know, there's an argument. It's out of Chelsea's hands, which is the biggest issue, right? But what Sir Alex said is you never change your back four.
Yeah.
Is the point I was getting to. You never change your back four. You need that continuity. You need that understanding. You need that. And he would say to his players, if you need time off, towards the end, Nemanja Vidic was kind of on the Ledley King training schedule where he only trained once a week, if that, because of his back spasms and how bad that was. So he was saved for the game at the weekend, right?
Yep.
You never
agreed.
did, but Potter doesn't do that. Potter tinkers. He moves people around. He does.
Didn't tinker a ton with Brighton. I mean, I
No,
just,
but he didn't have the players to. He's got 300 players at Chelsea to choose from.
Yeah.
That's the other issue, right? So, and he came in mid-season. He didn't have a preseason with these players.
Chelsea desperately needs a active, very active director of football to keep Bowley at bay. That's what he has to do.
They had that prior to in Abramovich's regime.
Yeah.
In terms of a strictly footballing sense, before everybody goes nuts, Abramovich is better than Todd Bowley.
Because he had that.
He had that system in place.
And you
look at the people that he's hired and fired and what they've won. And Chelsea never missed a beat.
Yeah.
Once they made it there, right?
Yeah.
They didn't miss a beat. And it didn't matter who came or went. Players or coaches.
Right.
So it was almost a Monchi style system.
Yeah.
The most famous sporting director in the world at Sevilla for many, many years. It didn't matter who came or went, coaches or anybody else, because the club had this philosophy. And Chelsea were the same way. They were competing for Champions League trophies. They were competing for, and they've won 2 of them. They were competing for Premier Leagues. They were competing for Europa Leagues and won 1 against us, of course. Under Abramovich, they did those things because they had this philosophy and these systems in place to safeguard this hiring and firing of people constantly.
Yeah.
One of the other best coaches that's been around, someone that everybody loves, Big Phil Scolari. You know, Luis Felipe Scolari that managed Brazil and Porto and Portugal and all those teams. He found it tough at Chelsea, and I think he won the Premier League as an interim.
Right.
Got let go. You know what I mean? They just kept rolling. Todd Bowley's not doing that because he's just with Abramovich leaving, I think a lot of these other systems went by the wayside.
De Matteo, who won him the Champions League as an interim.
Got sacked 10 games into the next season or whatever it was because they were shit.
But they kept it going.
And then they rebounded and made the Champions League again the following season.
Yep.
So it's a strange one there, man. And I don't know if they're going to be able to keep ticking over as they were.
Yeah.
I really don't.
I wonder as well. And also, how many people did they sell this summer to make up for the amount of money? Like, I think let's watch in the next couple of years. They could be in a lot.
Well, they're going to have
trouble.
to. These 8-year contracts, right, are supposed to be a workaround for financial fair play.
Right.
A very obvious loophole, right? What club is going to take that contract on?
No one.
So that player is now you are stuck with Mikhailo Mudryk.
The heavy money at the end, they're not going to take it.
Trossard scored a couple goals and had a couple of assists. Mikhailo Mudryk's got nothing.
0. Yeah.
No stats.
Absolutely nothing.
Enzo has 1 goal, I think, in the Champions League.
And he's at least shored up the fucking midfield.
He's been playing well. That's unfair against
different position,
him.
but
it's unfair
the
against
the forward needs to fucking go out there and immediately be an impact.
Do anything. I mean, he was clean through and decided to try to take it early, but couldn't work the ball out of the middle of his feet. He was striding for 20 yards with it.
First sub off the field in this match as well. It was midway through the second half, but he was the first guy off again.
Right. 100 million.
All right, we got to keep this rolling. We got 3 more games to cover. This one really, sorry, West Ham and Southampton supporters that are listening to the show. This was a boring as fuck match.
Both of these games were boring as fuck.
This was
my opinion.
Boring. But for the Irons, that's a statement. At home, get the win. Fabianski back in the net. You get the shutout. That is Moyes ball to a fucking T.
And
that is Moisey ball if ever there was a Moisey ball.
It kind of stopped the boat from going across the river Styx there for David Moyes.
That is some David Moiseola fucking shit right there.
The only thing I have on this one, honestly, I mean, I wrote a paragraph, but it doesn't matter. Smokey, I'm talking directly to you. Okay, my DMs are open. But really, I just want you to hit me up on DUFC. That's Drunkard United FC, the closed group on Facebook, where all the hashtag bans happen that everybody should ask to be a part of. Just send us a thing on Facebook, and we'll get you in there. At DU Football Show originally, and then Drunkard United FC to find that. Smokey, I need you to publicly tell me who the fuck Thilo Kehrer and Naif Agurd are. Please. The assister and goal scorer for this particular win. Never heard of them. Don't remember saying their name during the Drunken Transfer recap. Don't remember them playing the season. No idea who these two cunts are. I need your help, Smokey. Get in touch.
In all fairness, you were drunk when you did it. I know the one.
I don't even. You know, one of the two.
Yeah,
that's still a failing grade.
We talked about him before because he gave up a couple of penalties and an own goal.
Still a failing grade.
Yeah, true.
That's only 50%, Sam.
Newcastle completely dominate Manchester United, and if it wasn't for David De Gea playing out of his fucking mind, this would have been 5-0.
Yeah, also a pretty boring game, to be honest.
Yeah.
United looked like they were on the brink of getting going and just
did.
never got out of first gear, ever. And Newcastle stymied everything they tried to do. It also didn't help that Bruno had a fairly legitimate penalty claim, but I don't think he realizes that the way he acts and projects himself hurts his chances of winning those penalties.
Yeah, because if you bitch about everything, at some point, cry wolf enough and people stop believing you.
Yeah. And even the announcer said, well, that won't affect his game for the next 20 minutes or so, will it? That's the fucking announcer doing the comms. It's like, you got to stop doing this petulance. You know, this is Pogba-esque, the way that Bruno's acting.
It's bad.
Now, Pogba did it against the club, where he would act like he doesn't care and stroll around. Bruno does it as like an angry 2-year-old.
What's funny, though, is that when Ronaldo was there, he was playing like second fiddle to him, and he didn't like it. And it wasn't working out well, and he really had a bad start to the season. The minute Ronaldo left, he went on a run. Yeah. He was looking good. And I think he just decided, like, oh, yeah, things are going too well. Let me go fuck this off. Like Ricky Bobby's dad in the Applebee's. He just ran out in the street and decided to fight a cougar. Like, I mean, it's just like, no, hold on. I'm not doing good. Things are too good right now. I don't like this. Like, that's exactly what it feels like Bruno's been for the past 4 weeks.
United's really good run had Christian Eriksen involved in it. Christian Eriksen seems to be, for whatever reason, the tonic that calms Bruno down and just lets him do what he wants.
Casemiro as well, but even though Casemiro is prone to a couple of reds now, but Casemiro somehow, his presence in the midfield, he takes up kind of the double duty to just let Bruno kind of go. But
that's very true. And Casemiro allows Bruno to flourish tactically.
Right.
I'm talking about his attitude.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know if Christian Eriksen just looks at him and goes, mate, I died 2 years ago. Shut the fuck up.
I have a feeling that's what he does. He probably just walks up to him, puts his hand on his shoulder, go, have you ever died on the pitch before?
Yeah. I'm a zombie.
I have. Fucking calm down.
Yeah.
There's more important things to
Don't
be
worry
crazy
about that penalty. It's fine.
Yeah.
I've
died.
I'm basically Jesus.
You.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
I came back from the dead. Fuck you. Okay? That's what he said. I'm fucking Odin. Okay? Because he's Nordic. Never mind.
I think Newcastle...
Some people will get that,
yes.
Mel.
Newcastle is finally finding a way to score, which they weren't before.
Here's another one. Maybe he just has Thor's hammer. And lays it out on the training table. Hey, Bruno, look at this.
In the dark with Bielsa after a loss. Let me show you this.
Shut up, mate. Check this out. His dick has an elbow.
Newcastle getting goals is what's really ultimately big for them.
I finally got her.
And to go back to the question that Keith asked, they're scoring goals. I start to feel more confident about them being comfortably third, and not fourth.
Correct.
I have more confidence in Newcastle. More confidence in Newcastle than I do in United or Tottenham.
The way Isak linked up that play was fucking phenomenal. Was absolutely brilliant. To be serious about the game for a second, the chance looked like it was gone, but his long, lanky leg reached around, poked the ball to I think was Guimaraes, who played it back to maybe Longstaff or somebody who played it back up to Isaac, and then or to Isak, and he little drop of the shoulder, reverse turn to the other side, and then found the space where Guimaraes was running into, who stood that ball up onto the far post.
That Maximon then, as the ball's going away, puts it right back in.
How composed was that? Just instead of trying to go for goal at that tight angle, just saw Willock and was able to head had the ball back to him.
That
was
whole
fucking
play,
phenomenal.
That whole play
excellent.
that whole thing was both chaotic and brilliant at the same time. And what was even more amazing is like, that's Man United that you somehow just seem to have this crazy, chaotic, you never lose the ball.
Yep.
How are you not losing the ball? That's Man United. They should have taken the ball off of your foot now 5 times already. And it was a brilliant build-up and a brilliant goal.
Oh, yeah.
And, well, I mean, a very simple goal at the end of the day. Well, just fucking knock it in right there on the
2 yards out, 3 yards out tops.
But that whole build-up to it was very incredible. And honestly, for me, this is exactly what Newcastle needs to be fucking doing right now. They're doing it at the right fucking time. And I got a lot more confidence in them than I do the other 2 teams.
Well, what is the success of a Premier League football club formula look like? Number 1, make your home stadium a fortress. Newcastle have done that. All of Geordie Nation has bought into it. And they have been probably the second best fans in the Premier League in terms of they were never not behind their team.
Right.
They were always 100% behind their team, even when Brucey was in charge, even with Mike Ashley at the helm.
Only 9 goals
against the board.
conceded at home this season.
Yeah.
Only 9 goals conceded at home.
That's number 1, right? And Keith wants me to keep Arsenal out of it, and this is simply seriously for comparative analysis. You look at the character arc of Xhaka, where we sent death threats.
Yeah.
I didn't, because I'm not a cunt. But various fans sent him death threats. He, at one point, was being booed off the pitch so badly, he took his gloves, threw them, and then flicked the fucking crowd off.
Right.
Right? To where we are now. So we didn't even back our team for a bit.
Right.
Yeah? Newcastle still backed their team. 100%. Regardless of what Ashley was doing, regardless of what the results looked like, regardless of who the manager was. Newcastle was still behind the team. But the way they have stepped up this particular season has been nothing short of spectacular. And that stadium is a fortress. Number 2, if you lose on the road, you don't lose by much. Newcastle have never been blown out.
Nope.
This season.
Lose by a goal.
Not at all. Lose by a goal.
It.
You
That
keep
is
your goal
it.
difference tight, and any tiebreaker falls in your
I think
favor.
they have a couple of 2-0 losses, but like,
That's tight still.
Yeah.
Fucking Bournemouth 9-0.
yeah.
I mean, there's a few
yeah.
in there that are spectacular losses this season.
Manchester United 7-0.
Exactly. There's a few that are spectacular losses this season.
That's right. We snuck that one in.
Newcastle have kept it tight on the road, and more often than not, they've at least gotten draws. And this is what saved Brentford, remember, in their first season. When they were on their downslope, when all those players got injured, they had draws instead of losses. And Newcastle have done that. They've drawn the teams they needed to draw, and they've beaten the teams they needed to beat, and they're where they are. And their home stadium is a fucking fortress.
And
I'm terrified we're going to lose the fucking title
At St. James.
at St. James Park because that's where we have to go in the closing weeks of the season.
Yeah.
And that stadium is fucking ridiculous right now.
Yeah.
It's hard to play in.
Yeah.
It's
very
like
hard.
Goodison Park was under Devin Moyes.
Yeah. Well, and leading into that, let us say yet again, when push comes to shove, Goodison Park is an impossible fucking building to play in, and you saw it again today.
Yep.
This was up until the first red card. Yeah, that's right. First red card, because there were multiple red cards.
There were 2.
This game was mostly Everton taking it to Tottenham.
Should have been 3.
Yes, should have been 3.
Hashtag foreshadowing again.
Let's get into the first red card that was given to Decore. You put your hands in somebody's face, that is going to be a red card. It is going to be a red card every
time.
single time.
Yep.
It does not matter if it's the softest thing in the world. I even forget his name, the cat who did it to Joey Barton for you guys at Arsenal. He had just signed him. He was a big signing, and he barely got Joey Barton in the face, and Joey Barton went to the ground.
I'll think about it, but I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. African player. I just don't remember his name is the problem. It was a one-word name.
I'll think about it.
But in that situation...
it wasn't Gervinho, what? Big
it
forehead?
was Gervinho.
Big forehead?
It was Gervinho. There you go. Bang!
I think that's an
inside
old
joke.
reference. That is
Old
an
inside
old
joke
reference.
right there.
I think he got tackled real hard or something and like pushed his forehead or something.
And
Sent off.
Fucking
Done. Yeah.
Barton went down easy.
He had a
Kane-
massive forehead.
Kane
You know
pushes.
what? When we signed Gervinho,
Mhm.
cell service 5 bars all the time in the Emirates.
You know, it's his
It's fucking reflected
his
the signal
forehead-
perfect.
so big it made Julia Lescott go, damn, that's a big fucking forehead.
Let's just do Gervinho, your forehead so big jokes. Your forehead's so big, you make it looks like he has hair.
You make Ken Griffey Jr. and The Simpsons drinking the tonic head look small.
Your forehead's so big, it made Todd's bowling wallet look small.
So Harry Kane fouls Damari Gray, pushes him in the back, knocks him to the ground. This is right at midfield, right at the halfway line, right there with the fourth official and the coaches.
And be honest, Harry Kane probably deserved it.
Well, Harry Kane pushed Damari Gray to the ground.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said Decore. My bad.
Then he walks by Damari Gray, gives him a kick in the knee, walks over top of him. Decore's in his face. He takes a swing at Decore's ankle and pushes him. Decore then responds, goes up to him and gets in his face. Kane pushes him again, grabs him by his jersey. Decore turns around, not looking, and throws his hands at him, obviously to push him away. Problem is, one of them hands right in his fucking face. And good Lord, you would have thought that England's captain was blinded for life. It was the slow turn fall move and then to the ground with his hands over his head. But again, it's a fucking red. It's not even debatable. It's a fucking red. Hands to the face. It's a fucking red. Does not matter. But god damn, if Kane didn't throw a fucking fit to get that fucking red card to happen.
Yeah.
All the build up to it. And ironically, Kane did ultimately get a yellow card for fouling Gray. And it was just like, dude, you could have gotten a yellow card for fouling Gray. Another yellow card for kicking Gray. Another yellow card for fucking kicking Decore.
Kicking out at Decore, yeah.
Could have got another yellow card for pulling his jersey, but one guy gets sent off.
I'm not defending Tottenham. I never will defend Tottenham, but Decore has been on edge lately.
Oh, he has been.
Well, think
Very
back to the
much so.
Tyler Adams incident against Leeds. So who pissed in his Cheerios?
I guess he's just he's back on the pitch playing again. He's just like, I'm gonna fuck somebody up. This is exactly
Sean
his
Dice has got him wound like a fucking...
Oh yeah, but it's worked well until this. Now the problem is now we're minus him for
No,
three
he should have been
fucking
sent
games.
off against Leeds too.
Yeah, we're now minus him for 3 fucking games, which
Right.
is the problem.
Yeah. No, and the Harry Kane piece of it was, do you remember that South American player? I think it was in South America it happened, but the video made the rounds multiple times. It might have been in Spain, actually. But who was getting kind of boxed out by a forward who was trying to receive the ball.
Yeah.
And he grabbed the forward's arm and hit himself in the face with it and then went down.
Yeah.
Do you remember?
Yes.
That sounds a lot like what happened to Harry Kane.
Yeah,
here.
it was gamesmanship, and I don't knock him. Do it, fucking do it. You know.
Well, yeah, I mean it's marginal gains, right? It's one of those things where,
and in a game where you got nothing, really, Tottenham had a couple of chances, but really it was Everton was the upper hand.
Yeah, if a Uruguayan player did that, he'd be being praised for his gamesmanship and getting an advantage over the other team for his team. But it's a piece of shit in it.
Yeah. Well, and then from that point, it is the story of Michael Keane.
Yes. Also an interesting character arc, but in a very much shorter span of time.
Tottenham finally win a penalty, and it was Keane wasn't aware of who was around him. Christian Romero ran right in next to him right as he went to kick the ball, and fucking Keane got him. It was definitely a foul. There was no doubt about it. Kane, of course, steps up. Kane, of course, scores the penalty. Kane, public enemy number 1 now. Every time he touches the ball, Goodison faithful are losing their mind. And Stellini decides, okay, it's time to sub out one of my forwards. I'm subbing out Son, and although the children definitely wept as he left the pitch. They bring on Lucas Moura. Problem for Lucas Moura? Lucas Moura decided, I'm going to go try to break Michael Keane's ankle. Went and studs up on a loose challenge, sees a straight red, which is funny because it's right in the ankle, and you're like, oh, shit, man, is that guy still walking? He was able to get up, able to play. Well, that leads into something because in the 90th minute, Michael Keane scores from fucking 25 yards out in the fucking 90s.
Fucking thunderbolt. And this is the one thing about Leicester we didn't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in terms of velocity and direction, it had a lot of Ricardo Pereira written all over it, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this was a fucking thunderbolt, this goal.
It's the funny one because I'll go back to our second season as Drunkard United FC, right?
Mm-hmm.
We were playing a game against the team that we had played in the final the year before. We were just playing a throwaway game at the end of the season. Didn't matter. I didn't play goalie that game. I played on the pitch. And I came in as a sub. And I got the ball at midfield. And they all stepped back from me. I then promptly took a shot from midfield and put it in the back of the fucking net.
Yeah.
Because their attitude was...
fat man.
He can't score.
Yeah.
He can't. Well, I wasn't that fat back then. But they were just like, he ain't gonna score. The entire Tottenham defense just went,
it's Michael Keane.
Center back's got the ball. Fuck it. He'll be...
It's Michael Keane in it.
We'll be all right. Let's just step off of him. He got to... it was training ground how he got to set up the shot for himself.
Right.
As 4 Tottenham players just literally took a step back from him. And he hit it so perfectly that fucking Lloris is just tree trunk, just going... How the fuck
man.
That,
yep.
Like, yeah, I mean, if I'm Lloris, that's one for me back in my days as a keeper. I'd have been yelling, would you guys like to fucking defend the guy? Would you actually like to try him from fucking shooting a goal? Because you should probably, if someone's wide open in front of the net, you should probably stand in front of them so they can't take a fucking shot. Honestly, the result this game deserved was a 1-1 draw. Because I kind of ultimately felt like neither team really wanted to win this game. I don't think either team... I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. I don't think either team wanted to lose this game. They went into this game going, if we don't lose, if we win, great, we move further up the table. And for Tottenham, they move into third. But I think Tottenham also goes, if we draw, we're in fourth place.
Well, in terms of Tottenham, I was going to say, I think Liverpool's result greatly influenced how they played in this game, especially with the way we saw them react, like I said earlier, without Conte due to the surgery versus how we saw them react in the first game where Conte's not in charge.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah.
I think Liverpool's result greatly influenced them, and Chelsea's as well. Because I don't think they're terribly concerned about Brighton. I think they think they'll fall off. Again, they're going to sleepwalk into 5th place and watch Brighton get 4th or whatever.
Yeah.
United and Newcastle are there. I don't think they're terribly concerned. But United having lost earlier in the day, and then the day before rather, and then you had Liverpool's result. I think
Done
Tottenham
that twice, by the way, stud.
Tottenham were going to be first third place. 4th place regardless of the result. Even if they lost, I think they were still in 4th.
Right.
So I think that greatly influenced the way they played.
Yeah, very true.
Which is not a good thing.
Do we think these...
That's not a good quality in a team chasing something.
Even if Everton go and lose at Manchester United this weekend, which frankly they should, it's at Old Trafford, are we starting to feel like they're probably going to be safe?
Who, Everton?
Yeah.
Yeah, I told you they're safe. Sean Dyche, I mean, Burnley was a unique set of circumstances that 5 years in, the dam finally broke. I think Sean Dyche's tactics work.
Sean
in
Dyche,
terms of being safe. He's not going to drive you on, but in terms of being safe, you'll be fine.
You know who doesn't look like Sean Dyche? Frank Lampard.
Sure money.
Do I even need to keep explaining it? The irony's kind of gone. I'm 0 for 28. I'm not like, fuck it. I don't care anymore. I have a couple losers somewhere. Yeah. And I'm going to say it now just to get it out of the way. In case you all were wondering, it just says they were going to need scholarships anyway. So don't worry about it. Talking about my daughters, obviously. I'm not gambling away their college fund. There was no college fund.
Yeah, there was never a college fund.
So
in
it
the
doesn't
first
matter.
place. Liverpool lost. Don't care. That is mine.
Nice.
Yeah, it is. It is. Either I win money or Liverpool loses. Happy either
boy.
way.
Yeah.
Just-
Happy boy.
I'm a happy man either way. Before we talk about mine, Mr. Graham, you and I had a little side bet going there where you were convinced Leicester was going to win, and that's your own fault for believing in that.
Well, they were leading.
And
A fucking own goal shouldn't have happened.
And I believed that Crystal Palace was going to win, and they
We
did.
had a side bet.
And we even put down money on the draw. So imagine my delight in the 90th plus minute when Mateus scores for the win. So
I couldn't believe it. I am going to hold this shot until Kitty takes the stage because I just took a sip of very expensive whiskey.
Okay, very good. No
I'm
problem.
going to just let that linger for a moment.
Again, I missed. Liverpool lost, and I'm now down $1,572.
Big Sam's Lock of the Week.
11.538462% of the time, Mr. Graham. It works 100% of the time. 3 more than you, which is all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
Keep it going. 2 bets. First one, Liverpool to beat Chelsea at 175, and then a separate bet of Liverpool to beat Arsenal at 155. Hope I lose them both.
Nice.
I don't even want McRib for him. I want them to be on the outside looking in. It'll be
gotcha.
bloody fucking brilliant.
All right.
And now, it's time for our degenerate gambling friend Pat's Pick of the Week.
That's not a bad bet, Sam. But speaking of bad bets, Pat's here.
Hey, what's going on?
I believe the line.
Full disclaimer on Pat, or disclosure, I should say. Apparently, he's had some cold medicine, both above counter and below counter.
Nice. He's drinking that scissor tonight.
Oh, I've been drinking a lot of IPAs and drinking Robitussin, Claritin, cannabis, and some ibuprofen. So,
Tussin.
I don't think it's
I
working.
know what we're going out on an injury time, and the band name is 3-6 Mafia. Okay.
How are you all doing tonight?
Fantastic. How
are y'all doing? All right, Pimp C.
how's the national title match going?
I haven't checked on it yet because I got the over in the first 5 innings of the Baltimore game, and that's a pitching fielding match, so that's not going good.
Oh no.
It is 9:26, and the national title game kicked off at 9:20.
Yeah, I know.
So it's only 6 minutes in.
And it was still 0-0. I got San Diego State covering 6, I believe.
Yeah. I took
It is 8-6 right now. San Diego State's winning.
So I took all 3 of the not Connecticut teams and I put a fiver on each of them to win the national title.
Nice.
So as long as San Diego State wins, I win $5 plus all my money back. But I figured UConn is the clear favorite to win it, but I put money, $5 on all of them. I was like, fuck it. Let's see if Florida Atlantic makes it to the fucking final.
Carly was all excited about betting LSU for the women's final because of the Bayou Barbie, the Reese,
Kim.
Reese from Baltimore,
Yeah.
and she was like, I couldn't figure out how to bet on my phone, but I need you to help me. And I was like, all right. And the game was like 3 minutes old or something. So I jumped in, got actual decent odds. I think they were both favorites, but one was a bigger favorite.
Okay,
I think
heard.
Iowa was like minus 150 and LSU was minus 110.
Okay.
So I got Carly in on a $9 bet. She won $8
There we go.
Yeah.
Atta girl.
because she picked LSU. She wanted LSU to win. She picked LSU, and she had 119 in her account. So I put $9 on to make it even. $18 in the hole. There you go.
There we go.
Solid.
Yeah, and what you just said actually kind of pisses me off about all these betting apps. Is if the bet is minus 150, it should be plus 110 at the very least, maybe plus 120. But for it's irritating. I've not taken games and not played bets because the odds and statistics are just way into the Casino's favor. I'm getting tired of it, but that's for a different day.
Yeah, but you're a degenerate and you can't walk away.
Right. Are you gonna? Let me ask you a question. You gonna call the phone number or not?
No, I've already
All
called
right,
that.
then shut the fuck up then.
I've already called that phone number a long time ago.
All right. So what were you? What did you take last week? Did you win or lose?
I took that Liverpool same game parlay, and it looked
that's
good.
right. Yeah, that really big fuck up. What do you got this week?
Hey! It wasn't a big fuck up when freaking Mohamed Salih scored the first goal in the game. I was like, well, shit, I just got two of my bets covered right there, and then they shit the bed.
And then, except for they didn't win.
Also, Mohamed Salih sounds like an off-brand boxing game. They didn't pay Muhammad Ali's estate to use his name. Salih, you absolute daft cunt.
And I'm only
Our boy is sick. He's been taking lots of Tussin and drinking the beers to work with it.
What do you got this week, dude? Come on.
No, I'm not leaving it. So what do you think? Arsenal's going to pull it off? 8 games to play? You're going to be the first time you've seen them win since you were 10 years old?
I was actually 17. No, I just turned 18 when they won the title last.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I mean, I'm rooting for you. It would be,
That was still half my life ago.
All right.
So what do you got this year? Or this week? This year. Minus 2,000.
Well, the call's been that long.
Well, he's the high drunk man on that tuss smell.
So I'm going to take a strange bet this week. All right. I'm taking Tottenham, Arsenal, and then Scotty Scheffler to win the Masters at $100 that pays $5,096.
Just mix another fucking sports.
Fuck it.
I fucking love it.
We're throwing some golf in.
You know what? I let it pass. It's good. We're gonna let that roll.
It doesn't matter.
Hey, it's going to have to the afternoon of Sunday at the Masters, and Scheffler win back-to-back Masters. I think he can do it.
There we go. So what are you at? How far are you down right now? Because Graham's down, 2,800, right?
But this is week 29, right?
Yeah.
I'm down 2,800, yeah.
It's 12 or 1,300.
Okay, I need to catch him. I'm still behind him.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, I'm winning it all back right now, so I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Heard. All right.
And tune in next week when I bet the darts, because apparently I'm not very good at soccer. All right, bro. Thank you very much. We appreciate your time. As always, enjoy the rest of whatever it is you're watching, the Coupe de
Wow, I'm off this week.
Indonesia cycling or whatever it is right now.
Oh, he's off this week. That means lots of golf and lots of alcoholism and lots of degenerate gambling.
Lots of tuss.
Yep, but unfortunately I'm traveling out of state, so I got to hit up some friends to make bets for me.
Oh, that's a shame. Venmo me. I'll hook you up.
I might hit you up to make a late night baseball bet because I know you like to stay up late.
Yeah. Nobody needs to know that. You might actually try to get in touch with me. All right, bro. We'll holler at you later. Enjoy your week off, and we'll speak soon. Don't die.
All right, bye.
All right. He didn't say okay. All right. I'm getting most of it back right now.
Okay.
Because I got a surefire Tuesday parlay.
Mm-hmm.
Liverpool to beat Chelsea. You know who's taking over for Chelsea? And this is odd. All of Graham Potter's backroom staff he brought with him from Brighton stayed.
Wow.
That's another interesting thing I forgot to bring up.
Huh.
You know who's going to be in the dugout who's taking over? Remember the right back Bruno?
Yeah.
Baldy with the big bassist from System of a Down beard?
Yep.
He is in charge on tomorrow.
Wow, no shit.
Yeah,
okay.
I like it. Anyway, Liverpool over Chelsea. I've got Villa to beat Leicester.
Okay.
Managerless Leicester. I've got Leeds to beat Forest because...
And that's at Leicester, too. I mean, at Villa, I mean.
I think it's at Leicester.
Okay, fair enough. Keep it going.
I think Leeds are going to beat Forest because they're in Leeds' building and they much have the same fans. And Brighton, after this display they just had, to beat Bournemouth. I think that's at Bournemouth, though.
Yeah.
But
Leicester is at home.
Leicester's at home. Yeah, Villa
Leicester's
travel. But I think Villa's got this one because Leicester a shambles. Plus 2236, 2,236. So my $100 bet is going to eradicate most of my debt.
Okay, very good.
And as the chicken comes in, which Mel is about to introduce, here is my shot of Malort. Enjoy.
Well, Kitty missed with her Brighton draw, so she sits at 13 and 15. So this week, I gave Kitty Man City traveling to Southampton. Now, Kitty, the chicken, informed me she just watched the movie Control about Joy Division's ill-fated frontman, Ian Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is a deep cut, isn't it?
It's a very deep cut.
This is for an audience of one?
Keep reading.
All right. Now, in the movie, he asks his favorite color, to which he replies, Man City Blue. Ian loved City well before they became the juggernaut they are today, so clearly, Kitty is picking City to win.
I just wanted to write something that would I'm sorry, Kitty's ghostwriter wanted to write something that would tongue twist you a little
think I
bit.
could say Kitty City Winnie?
No, I just figured you'd fuck it all off, and you didn't. So good job.
Well, Kitty,
best cold reader in the business, right?
Kitty City Winnie, that means I'm not shitty, and you better gamble legally and responsibly.
Championship corner!
I've fallen, and I can't get up. Oh, no.
Melissa had a moment.
That actually wasn't bad there at the end. You know, my dad used to say that's a similar tongue twister to all that.
Mm-hmm.
Tough titty said the kitty, but the milk tastes shitty. Whenever something bad in my life happened, that's what he would come back with, which I always thought was interesting. So, on Friday, we got back up and going, and Burnley and Sunderland played to an exhilarating 0-0 draw. On Saturday, Luton 2-0 over Watford, Preston 3-1 over Blackpool, Birmingham 1-0 over Blackburn. That's a big deal. Bristol City 1-1 with Reading, Cardiff and Swansea played to a 2-3 Swansea win. Stoke City 4-0. They haven't seen 4 goals in Stoke since the 1600s. 4-0 to Stoke over Coventry. Huddersfield 4-2 over Borough. Get on, Neil. Get on, Neil. Huddersfield and Rotherham 0-0. Norwich City 0. Sheffield United 1. West Brom and Millwall 0-0. Wigan 1-0 over QPR. These are all quite important games. That actually is everybody that played. Burnley still on top by a cool 11 points on 38 games played with a plus 45. Sheffield United in second on 73. And then there's a big drop-off. Middlesbrough, 67 points in third place on a plus 25. Luton Town are in fourth with 67 points as well, but only a plus 13. Millwall in fifth now on 61 points with a plus 8. And Blackburn are in sixth place on 61 with a dead even goal differential. 43 for, 43 against.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting that. Norwich have played a game more than Blackburn on 39 games. Blackburn are on 38. Norwich are in seventh on 57 points, but they have a plus 10. So a game or two goes their way. They're up into the playoff spots, and Blackburn are out now after their midseason slide. Eighth place is Coventry on 57 as well, but a plus 6, also on 39 games. But West Brom have a game in hand on both of those two teams, only on 38, with a plus 8 goal differential and 56 points. Preston North End are in 10th on 56 points, 39 games played, but they do have a minus 7 goal differential because of one or two big losses.
Mm-hmm.
So that I guess Watford kind of still in it on 55 points, and Sunderland and 12th are still in it on 54 points, both also on 39 games, but they do have positive goal differential. So you're looking at 3rd through 12th that could possibly be in the playoffs.
Yep, absolutely.
This is fucking an insane season.
Yeah,
This
really is
wild stuff. You go down to the bottom of the table, you got Wigan in dead last on full 39 games with only 34 points scored and minus 25 goal differential. Blackpool are in 23rd on 35 with a minus 20, also 39 games played. Huddersfield, the Neil Warnock effect.
Yeah.
They are in 22nd, so they do occupy that final relegation spot, but they are tied on points with Cardiff, one of his former haunts. But Cardiff do have a game in hand. Huddersfield with a minus 19, Cardiff with a minus 14, both on 39 points. So it's going to be interesting all over the table yet again, and we'll see what happens.
Excellent. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us, boys and girls. Mr. Graham, any parting words?
Nah, I'm good.
Lovely.
I don't think there's anything that really happened. I didn't hear too much.
All right. Next up is Injury Time, where you can listen about the beers we've been drinking, check in on our fantasy teams, even though the week is not completed yet. And we're also going to preview the weekend's action while checking in on our adopted clubs. Mr. Graham, if somebody wanted to find Injury Time, how do they go about doing it?
It's actually quite simple, and you'll only have to part with $5 a month. That is patreon.com/DU Football Show. Just sign up to that one beautiful tier we got. You get both of our extra shows a week and a couple extra really fun things throughout the year. So hit us up, join, and you get everything that we got to offer.
Lovely. Also, be sure to check out our Drip Shack, where our boy Rob, a fit, Fulham in the South
see
Cat.
that?
Yep, just bought his water bottle with our new cartoon logo.
Likenesses.
And also, because he is a musician, decided to go ahead and lay down the riff from Whiskey and the Kidney Stones from the Drunken United Anthem, which was absolutely fantastic.
That's pretty good. Also, as the weather's starting to warm up, Mel, I need to get on that manufacturer's site so I get them at cost. And I've got the old D-back slides in my horizon, I think, to wear down in Ocean City. Down the ocean this summer on.
Yeah, Juan. All right, everybody. Till next week.
Good night.
Born in the land of Bowie, Maryland. Bred to be a fan of fucking Everton. Punch you in the eye and drink your rye. Sam Houston. Sam Houston? Arsenal fans have another Sam. AKA the fucking Gooner Graham. Stump of my lord. Look straight in shorts. Sam Graham, hey. Sam Graham. Drunken United! Drunken United! Hit the fucking mute button!